We are delighted to be back here at the Eastside Community Kitchen at Second Chances Farm, Delaware's first indoor hydroponic vertical farm. We're here because we are launching a whole new spice collection. In fact, we call it Second Chances Spices Farm, because we're adding spices both grown indoors here as well as blending it with curated spices from around the world. But the particular reason we are here is we are proud that the first state, which we are part of, will have its first president in Joe Biden. Yes, we call him Joe because everybody in Delaware calls him Joe Biden. And we created two sets of spices, one for Joe called Joe No Malarkey Spice Blend, and the other one for the Vice President Kamala Harris Fearless Fusion Spice Blend. And together we are offering it for sale as part of a way to honor this new change in administration, hopefully a change in tone. And we believe food and spices are a great way to bring people together. It's a fusion of all kinds of thoughts. And today we have a very talented chef from Eclipse Restaurant, which is in Wilmington, Schiff, who is going to use the Joe No Malarkey Spice Blend. And I will give an unsolicited endorsement to say I've eaten there numerous times, particularly during COVID. The service is superb, the wine is very delicious, approachable, and the food is always fun. You're always surprised. And today you're going to surprise us with something. Yep. So what are you going to do here?
So we're keeping it simple today. We're going to do a fried bologna sandwich. It's one of the biggest sellers on our lunch menu right now.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
Fried bologna
sandwich.
But this is no ordinary bologna.
No, it's mortadella. We use mortadella, which actually has pistachios in it.
And what does the pistachio do? Just flavors?
It's just a nice little flavor, a little added touch to the sandwich.
Was this your idea?
Yes. Yep.
All right, go for it, chef.
All right, awesome. So we'll start off with a little bit of oil. I like to start with oil to get that nice and warm.
What kind of oil do you use?
It's just a blended oil.
Okay. And blend of what? Just if somebody's trying to repeat this, what would they do? Blended with what?
It's mostly vegetable oil with a little bit of olive oil in it.
Oh, it's a mixture of both. Yep. Interesting. Wow. And you like that just because of the heat?
Yeah, it doesn't burn too quick. But right now we're going to do a lower temp. I usually add the oil first to get that nice and warm, and then add a touch of butter.
Okay.
So we use Cooper Sharp American cheese. It's
And why Cooper? Why
Cooper
American?
Sharp is probably one of my favorite cheeses. It's not the greatest cheese. It's not super high end or anything like that. But
so you must have a reason for choosing it.
It melts very well. Flavor wise, I just think it's incredible on a fried bologna. Fried bologna is a very classic, simple sandwich, and American cheese you can't go wrong with. So
great.
So we're gonna lightly toast the bread. I like to kind of swirl it around to get the bread nice and coated. So over here, we have a caramelized onion aioli. We make this in-house. We take a whole bunch of onions, we caramelize them nice and slow.
And how slow is slow?
At a really low temp, just over about an hour it takes.
Wow, okay.
And then we let those cool. We add mayo, a little bit of sour cream, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and that's pretty much it. And then we're gonna add a little bit of this Joe No Malarkey seasoning to it, just to give it a little bit of kick.
So it's interesting how you can accent something as simple as an aioli. It's not simple, but with the spice and completely change the flavor, right?
Yep.
And then,
when I make this sandwich, I prefer shredded lettuce.
Okay.
I think it works really well with this sandwich. So we're going to use these greens here.
And these greens came from Second Chances Farm.
Correct.
They're here right at our indoor hydroponic farm. Probably harvested this morning, so it's as fresh as it gets. It's pesticide-free and chemical-free, so the taste is really different from what you buy elsewhere because we have nothing added to it.
Right. Meanwhile, we'll heat up this mortadella.
So you're putting the same oil, which is again mixture of olive oil and mostly vegetable oil, you said, right?
Right. And just a light fry on these. We don't want them to be too dark. We've had issues in the past where it kind of burns and just, even though it looks nice, it's the color on it looks nice, it's still too dark.
So how long is long in your mind?
We'll probably do that for about maybe a minute on each side. not too long.
And you don't use any timers, you just remember?
Yep, just all in the head. That's a nice even color.
Do you need a plate or are you okay?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So we'll plop this down over here. And then we'll start on the next. Same thing with this piece of bread.
Yeah.
Get it nice and toasted.
Tell me about the chips while you're, because obviously you brought them with you. Are they something you do in the house?
We do these in-house. It's a bit of a process. Most potato chips are just thinly sliced on a mandolin and then thrown directly into like a 300-degree fryer. We actually do thick cut kettle chips. So we measure our potatoes after we slice them to make sure.
Measure them?
Yep, to make sure it's the right thickness. So we do 1/8 of an inch thick on each potato slice. And then we take a large pot of water with, for about a gallon of water, we use a cup of plain distilled vinegar, which kind of pulls the starch out. So we'll take the potatoes after they're sliced, we throw them and blanch them in the water and vinegar mixture, and then we throw them into an ice bath. So we blanch them for about maybe 2 minutes till they can break. They're cooked enough where they'll break, and then we'll throw them into an ice bath, and then from that ice bath, then we fry them. So
there's something simple about it. This is the reason why it looks so elegant.
Right.
This is not something in a package. You didn't get it in a package.
It's quite the process.
So how do you know when it's done? Oh, is that the color?
There's a nice little color to it. It's not overly toasted.
Okay.
A little bit more color than that, it would almost have a burnt flavor to it.
Okay.
So we like to have it cooked where it's crispy on the outside, but the inside's nice and chewy.
Wow.
So now all we're really waiting on is this mortadella to finish up, and then we're gonna assemble a sandwich.
Okay.
And the assembly is probably the most important part.
Really?
The order in
sequence.
which it sits. Yep.
The sequence. Okay. And where do you put the aioli? Right on the bread or
the
cheese?
aioli goes right on top of the cheese.
So you spread it thin or thick?
We do a nice dollop on each side.
Okay.
All right, so for the order of the sandwich,
Yeah.
so it goes bread, cheese, aioli,
One.
and we use 3 pieces of mortadella on the bottom.
Okay.
Whenever I make the sandwich, I always fold the slices over.
Okay.
It gives the sandwich a little bit more height.
Okay.
And then the third piece
It's sort
flat
of
on top.
Wow.
And then we have thinly sliced beefsteak tomato here. 2 slices.
Okay.
And then we do half of the amount of lettuce.
Okay.
Do about 4
Oh, you
to
put
5.
the chips right inside.
4 to 5 thick slice tomato.
Holy,
More lettuce on top.
wow.
2 more slices of tomato. And then these guys should be finished up over here.
This is a serious sandwich.
It is. And then bread on top.
Wow. And you just sort of crush it
Just
so
press
that,
it down.
and that's when you hear the crunch sound of
Nice
the chips.
crunch, yeah.
You know, and then you cut it obviously. Wow.
And there we go.
You know, what I love about these shows is how creative and inventive you can be with daily foods. It's not exactly the daily foods, but it's still, you know, and look at that. That is a meal. And you said this is one of the more popular dishes.
It is, yes.
Eclipse. Chef Alex, this is Kevin. Kevin works at Second Chances Farm, where he's also in his many duties. He's the liaison to our restaurants to help them hopefully purchase stuff from us, and we can showcase some of our product. So he's also consists of a foodie. So he has become our official taster, and he's the one who blesses the food if it's good enough. So are you ready to taste some?
I'm
That's
impatient.
a big impatient.
I consider myself a sandwich maker at home.
You
and
are.
I watched you cook it and I realized, prepare it, and I realized the difference is patience.
It is.
I just want to eat the thing, so I rush it, and I'm sure it doesn't come out as good as this. Oh.
Wow. Putting that in the mouth alone is.
Yeah, this is way better than any sandwich I've ever made.
So out of curiosity, what makes it, what's the flavor you're getting from this? Because it's interesting, you got lettuce, you got tomato, but I'm curious about the aioli. I'm curious about the bread, because the bread looked incredible, the
Brioche
cheese.
I really love for the reasons that he
talked.
said.
Yeah.
This is obviously, at base, a very simple sandwich, the kind of sandwich that you could make at home. The brioche is the first thing I taste, and then the aioli. The cheese kind of gives it a little more depth than just the mortadella itself. And then that beefsteak tomato, just right in the middle of it.
Since you didn't mention the chips, I'm going to have the chips.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Alex.
very much.
Take care. Thanks so much.